And we are live. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone, tuning into this Ivy webinar today. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tara, and I work with Ivy. Ivy is a business management software and community for designers. And designers use Ivy to centralize their billing and purchasing and administrative tasks all in one place, including generating customized documents, invoicing, collecting online payments, managing your project calendars and FF&E schedules and all that fun stuff. And designers also use our mobile app, which allows you to manage your projects on the go. Together with various industry experts, every week we host webinars for designers to learn about the different ways that you can manage your business more efficiently and more profitably. So today I'm very excited to welcome Rebecca Orlov and Julie Van Daele to the Ivy webinar stage. Rebecca, I believe you've hosted maybe 2 or 3 webinars with us, so welcome back.
Thank you.
Rebecca is the founder and creative director of Orlov Design Co., and she works very closely with designers and other creative professionals to translate the brand voice and business goals into beautiful and effective websites. And Julie, you're actually new to the Ivy webinar stage, so welcome to your first webinar.
Thank you.
We're really excited to have you. And Julie is the founder of Well Received, which is an interior design and consulting firm for design-driven clients. So together today, both Rebecca and Julie will share with you very useful tips and resources for establishing your business's brand presence and style with a strong focus on website design and promotion. So they will dive into best practices and ideas for attracting your target client, applying universal design principles to your website, promoting your work, and catching the eyes of key editors. So just a little bit of housekeeping. For the next 45 minutes, Rebecca and Julie will run through their presentation, and then we'll leave the last 15 minutes at the end to submit your questions, and we'll address all of your questions live. So in order to submit a question, under our faces here, there's a little text box that says ask a question. You click that, and that's where you submit your question, and we will do our best to address all of your questions. And for those of you who are designers who are tuning in and you're not yet using Ivy, I highly encourage you to stick around after the presentation so my colleague Lisa can jump on and we'll walk you through the Ivy software to show you what Ivy is all about. So enough with the intro. I want everyone to tune in and take notes, and we have a lot to learn today. So without further ado, I'm really happy to welcome Rebecca and Julie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tara. We're both really happy to be here. I wanted to just share a little bit about how Julie and I came together. We are both part of an entrepreneurial community for mamas called Hey Mama, and we met through that platform. And I love connecting with other women and other small business owners like myself. And so I'm so happy that she could join us today, or me, on this journey. So thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
So I'm going to dive into the webinar, you guys. We have a lot of stuff to take you through, and we are looking forward to answering any questions and connecting after as well. So I'm going to dive into sharing my screen, the technical part of it. So thank you again, Tara, for that awesome intro. Yes, this is my 3rd webinar with you guys. It's always such an exciting thing for me to do. I love sharing ideas and inspiration with other business owners. I'm also a small business owner, and I completely understand the amazing rewards and the challenges that we go through daily to manage our businesses. So anything to help, I love to do. So with that, today we'll be talking about best practices for presenting and pitching your design business. Again, Tara introduced us. I'm Rebecca. Julie will be following after me. And as she mentioned, we are going to be talking today about aspirational and accessible ideas for running your business, really for kind of entering the new year, 2019. These are really key paths for you as business owners to hone, develop, and present your best business self through your website experience, and also to promote your projects to editors and other interested parties. So with that, moving in. So today, my part 1 is your best presentation. We'll be following, talking about 4 different kind of categories: designing your site to attract your tribe, the 5-second test, art direction and the universal design principles, and then the concept of essentialism. Julie will take you through kind of like the new modern platform beyond the press release, best channels to promote your work, and then how to capture an editor's eye. So all good stuff. So with that, hello again, I'm Rebecca, and I am the owner of Orlov Design Co. I founded my company in 2016. We are a website design firm. We are based in Las Vegas, but we work with clients around the country. We design and launch and build Squarespace websites for artisanal brands and lifestyle companies like yours. We offer a 360 experience beyond just like a drop and drag website build. We really help you take your business plan, your business model, and interpret that into a visual narrative through a compelling website. We love to collaborate with other designers like yourselves to share your best self. Prior to my career to my business and launch, I was an advertising producer. I worked in large ad agencies, small ad agencies, producing TV commercials, content. I worked with really big clients like Revlon, DirecTV, PlayStation, and I also worked with smaller startups as well. Paralleling that work, I have been blogging since 2007. I had a very kind of like fun little blog called Loving Living Small. That was a blog all about small space living. And also I did a lot of writing for Apartment Therapy, HGTV, Refinery 29, and so on. So it was really neat to be part of that wave that was shaping conversations for users like ourselves. And I actually still write not for a blog though, I write for Vegas Magazine on the side. It's a really fun gig as well. And then umbrellaing all of this is that I'm a mama to an almost 5-year-old, and she is a huge part of my work-life balance, of course. And so I really want to design a business to help me intentionally parent her. So moving on. All right, so part one. This is really something I've said in other webinars. I completely believe in the concept of your vibe attracts your tribe. I love that. I'm going to take you guys through some ideas about creating a design aesthetic through your website experience, and that can extend to all your platforms that truly is attracting your ideal client. The first step, of course, is what I say, define your vibe. This is your brand voice and your mission. So your brand voice is not your branding. Your brand voice is who you are as a business, your purpose, your value, and your tone. This is kind of what defines you and why clients would want to work with you. And of course, through that, we have your mission. Your mission statement is a very succinct, quick blurb about who you are as a business. It's who you are, what you do, and why are you unique. These are important components to identify so you can design a website experience around them. Of course, we want you to define your ideal client. You know, not everyone is your client. You have a really specific niche of who you're marketing to. So we want to make sure that it's defined so that you can create compelling messaging that attracts them. Another important step in designing your site to attract your tribe is to certainly define your main business goals. It's almost the new year. It's a great opportunity to like reset, refresh, and reimagine your business. You know, we as small business owners, we ebb and flow and we are growing every day. So our business will as well. And so I recommend defining a large business goal for the year and then breaking it down into quarters or months, smaller attainable goals. And why we do that is so that we can make sure that you're, again, designing messaging and you're hitting up the right clients to achieve those goals. With that, we also want to have your main philosophies. What is your design approach? Who are you as a business? What do you believe in? Again, another way to attract your tribe. Of course, we want you to define your business model. What are your services? What are you offering? What is your benefit to someone? And then once you've defined all of these pieces, then you can go on to designing a website experience that will attract your tribe, your main community, and your dream clients. So I completely believe in the concept of you can't do everything, but you can do anything. I heard this recently through a book I'm reading. It's fantastic. It's called Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg McKeown. And it's the concept of really honing your business. In this case, you want to edit, define, and you want to be singular with this. So we can take all those components that you've really thoughtfully worked on and then create a visual representation of that. Again, we want to have beautiful imagery, beautiful messaging that is compelling and engaging to get those interested parties to become clients. You know, one thing I wanted to point out too is your website is an experience for site visitors, potential clients, but what it really is your best sales tool. It has to have key information about you as a business and relevant information for your customers and clients. But the goal of a website isn't to have someone hang out on your website. You actually want to get them off your site. It's a bridge to you. So we want to hook them in. We want to get them off and on the phone or via email so you can close the deal. So it's a really awesome way to think about your website. All right, so the next idea that I'm going to talk about is the 5-second test. I love this quote, first impressions count, count your first impressions. These days, we all have a real opportunity to kind of view analytics to see who's coming to the site, where they're entering your site, where they're leaving your site. Analytics can feel quite overwhelming. They're actually not that hard to learn if you kind of take a deep dive in. And so I want to talk a bit about that. So the 5-second test is just a usability test. So it's when people first come to your website, what do they see? Are they understanding the product or service that you're selling? Do people feel that they'll receive a benefit from your page right away? And what is their first impression of your company? So I have this concept, it's a newspaper term, which is above the fold. I've talked about this before, which is the main module and the masthead now even is of a newspaper, right? It's above the fold. So in the website's case, it is your logo, it is your first module of imagery, it is a message, and it's also your nav bar. So you want to make sure that all of those components are exactly in line with who you are as a business and what you're offering. So on that note, let's talk a bit about that. So key navigation. We want to make sure that your navigation bar, which is typically about, select work, contact, these are all categories that people can select to find you or find more content on your website. These days, a nav bar can be actually very, very curated. You don't have to have 1,000 things up there. You certainly can if you want, but we want you to be essential and make sure you're sharing just the key elements. So perhaps you want to really focus on showing your key work. Perhaps you want to focus on a bit about more of your design approach. Remember, you want to design your website to attract your ideal client. I'd like to give you a quick example. I did a project early this year with a wonderful interior design client. She really wanted to focus more on getting a hotel real estate developer client. She was interested in kind of moving into that world in the commercial space. And we positioned her through her nav bar, through her imagery, through her messaging to attract that tiny group of people that are hotel developers. Were we also, speaking to potential clients? Sure. But we really wanted the messaging to be compelling for those people that would potentially book her to design a hotel property. So, that's something to keep in mind. So I typically have in the nav bar, of course, we have your about, who you are as a business and who you are as a person and or your team behind the business. Those are two separate things. I love to have, especially in the design world, your approach. Certainly you can have your services and what you offer, but who are you as a designer? Who are you as a business owner? What can you provide to a client that will help them? What are you solving for them? Of course, your contact button needs to be there. If you have various methods of contact, point those out as well. For example, on Orlov Design Co., I have a book your call tab, and I also have an email tab. I want to empower my site visitors to contact me the way that they're comfortable. And so I chose to do that. I want to also point out quickly, the footer is a great space of real estate to add in a lot more content these days. It's not just like a throwaway space. Your footer, in fact, is probably one of the best places to put a lot of your key work categories as well. Again, you want your website to always provide opportunities, calls to action, so that these curious site visitors can jump around and get to the places that they want to go. So we went through those navigation categories. Logo design, of course. If you haven't checked out your own logo in a while, which is a funny thing to say, but it's true, definitely take a look at it. Logos, they certainly can be refined in any moment. In fact, I just kind of revised mine over the summer. Again, as a small business, you're evolving. Why not evolve your logo as well? I certainly recommend keeping some consistency if you're going to update your logo, whether it's the font style or the color palette. But if you want to do something new, absolutely, why not? We just talked a bit about that first module. That is the first image section of content that people see. I always recommend having compelling content, whether it's a beautiful image, a message there. And again, this is the 5-second test. You want to hook those people and get them to keep going through your website. And then mix it up and mix it up often. Websites these days are so editorial. They're not just static entities that sit there. They are so flexible and expandable, and it is very common and acceptable to update your front modules, your content, whenever you feel like it, whether it's once a week, once a quarter, once a year. But I certainly recommend, especially as a creative company in the design space, to consider updating your front pages. Like, why not? Show new work. Provide inspiration to visitors who are new or returning visitors as well. So this is something you guys will all understand as designers. And I think it's such a neat way to look at website design. In fact, any design. But, obviously we want your website for a client or customer to feel wonderful, just like an interior. So when you walk into a room, you feel amazing if it's designed well, using the design principles. And I apply those same principles to website design. So art direction, we all know this, it is the intersection of ideas and execution. As designers, we want to embrace all the, those beautiful design principles, space, color, harmony. We want to make sure that there's a beautiful flow, there's a consistency. We're providing a comfortable experience, but we really want to provide that, wow, this feels amazing. You don't even realize as you're going through how nice the experience is. And that's the beauty of good design. We want to take your your business model, your services, we want to visually communicate those goals. We do that through compelling messaging. So if your goals are to attract 5 new clients for the year, perhaps we can do some really beautiful messaging about award-winning designers, or check out our latest project in this magazine. We're really encouraging them to show who you are as a business, what you can offer, accolades that you're proud of. It's nice to speak about who you are as a business, of course. In applying these universal design principles, we use what's called UX, which is our user experience. It is the blueprint to your website design, just like a blueprint to a home. It is where we design the flow. So think of it as like space planning. Again, we want to make sure that your content is laid out beautifully and your messaging is showcasing nicely, so that we're attracting your clients, we're engaging them, and they feel awesome. And then again, we want you to be essential in the website experience, just like you would in a room. Sometimes too much is, too much. We want to make sure we're editing. We want to make sure that we are revising and making sure key elements, key content and key information is listed in a beautiful way, of course, but it's listed there. We don't want to clutter a website design, much like a room. So think about that if you want to take like an audit of your own website and see what's on there. Is there like too much information? Is there, confusing, conflicting information? We want it clear, essential, and styled to attract those customers, to get them off your site and on the phone with you. And speaking of essential, again, I recently read this book. I absolutely recommend it for your business life and your personal life. It's a really interesting concept of pursuing like a disciplined life of less. And it's not just like less things. You can certainly do that. It's more of this like concept of a singular goal. You don't have to do everything. But you can do anything, which I love that. And then the other concept of like stop majoring in minor things. You want to have a singular focus, of course, in your business, your website experience, all the collateral around that, and all that good stuff. So with that, another quote from the book is, if it isn't a clear yes, then it's a clear no. So if you were to go on your website or look at any of your project work, and if you're kind of on the fence, then you probably should consider revising it, right? You want to make sure that this really important real estate, in this case, your website, is so compelling and clear with what you're offering. We want to get those clients. We want to engage them. So perhaps if you might consider embracing this concept of essentialism. So it's this eye-opening concept, at least I think so, of helping your business and your relationships. And you really are selecting your core client. We want to speak to them. Of course, there's other people that are interested in who you are, and we can convert them to become your clients as well. But you have a defined client that you want to connect with, your demographic. And then I strongly recommend going through your website experience, kind of combing through it, and then editing it, refining it, streamlining it, and then doing it again. Again, making sure there's essential information is there, but still in a beautiful, compelling way. Let's make some deliberate choices with the idea of not just like throwing up a picture because you just need a picture. Really think about what you're selecting and how it's representing your brand, your business, and your aesthetic. Again, there's some crazy statistic now of like 90-something5% of people go to a website first before they even contact you. So let's use those 5 seconds and hook them. And we want to make sure that the imagery is there, the messaging is there, and not just your key information is really there. And then, on that note, select your priority, which is a singular word versus priorities. We all get caught up running a small business. We wear all those hats. Life is busy. We have 1,000 things to do, but consider booking yourself, much like you would a client. I say that often. Taking time to define your business goals, and all the elements that I've been talking about. And you should absolutely be able to succeed with a beautiful site experience. And then once again, to wrap it up, come full circle with those goals that you've set, your brand voice messaging, your added value. We want to make sure that you're presenting yourself in your best way to get those clients. We want to turn those, like what I say, curious site visitors into engaged clients. And then I always say this, if you haven't done this in a while, if you've never done this, or if you do this all the time, consider reacquainting yourself with your company's core values. This is an exercise you can do when you book your time, like you would a client. I would sit down and make sure you have your core values. These can be interfacing or public facing. I have my own set. I have about 10 listed. They're short and sweet. It's my beliefs as a business owner. They're just interfacing to me as a reminder of why I have my business, how I want to run my business, the people I want to work with, all those good things. And just make sure that those values that you've defined are essential to you as a business owner, and that they're coming through in your messaging. We want to make sure that you're working with clients that resonate with you as a designer. So many of us in the creative world, and perhaps in the past, you've bent over backwards or worked with clients that might not have been the best fit or didn't really align with you as a business owner or in your design aesthetic. I would consider making some goals to attract and get those clients that really resonate with you and that align with you perfectly. It'll make the entire experience so great. So with that, we can certainly talk more at the end, but I hope you guys got a really good indication of some really clear paths, especially as 2019 is coming around the corner, to sit down and think about you as a business, how you're sharing your business, and then ways to be compelling and meaningful in your website presentation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Julie, and she'll take it from there.
Wow. I felt like I wanted to be taking notes.
I have my mind ready for you, Julie.
Thank you. I'm going to redo my website. My turn. Hello, everyone. Let me get to my slides. Okay, here we are. Perfect. So again, thank you, Rebecca. That was incredible. My name is Julie Van Daele, and I am the founder of Well Received, which both Tara and Rebecca have said. You're probably wondering how I'm doing interior design and consulting, and then how you're going to learn from me with PR. But let me explain. For the past 11 years, I've been working in PR and marketing. I started in LA working for fashion companies such as Shopbop, and then I moved to New York for 4 years. And there I worked with corporate clients that included Audi and Amazon and Starwood Hotels, which was incredible to give me that corporate agency experience. And then I'm from Los Angeles, so I moved back home to be with my family. And there I started working, started my own company, consulting with PR and marketing for young, up-and-coming modern furniture designers. So as a lot of you are in design, and probably more specifically interior design, maybe you've heard of one of my clients, Stephen Ken. He's known for the buckles on the back of the sofas, but I was really proud to work with him. I've worked with a smaller company, Klein Agency, and a few other, like I said, up-and-coming furniture brands. As I was working with them, doing the PR and marketing, I also was helping consult on everything from website aesthetics, lookbook aesthetics, furniture design, and kind of began to hone in on this niche that I hadn't really discovered before of loving design and seeing that I had an eye for it. And then about the same time as I was consulting for the PR businesses, I was fortunate enough to be able to build a home for myself and my husband from the ground up. And there it gave me a blessing of a platform to be able to showcase my style, my aesthetic, put my spin on design. And through that, I have had quite a few people reach out asking me to help them with design. So it's been evolving, and that's what's so fun about today's day and age is you can continue to evolve your career and like Rachel said, your perspective, your website. Through building my own business, I've had to kind of go back into my old world of PR, but this time pitch myself and my work and my clients. So that's what I'm kind of here to talk to you about, is not being afraid to pitch your business, to promote yourself, to help grow your business and get yourself out there. So with that, let's talk about how we're going to get the word out. First off, you may be surprised seeing my headline that gone are the days of the press release. But let me tell you, I know very, very, very few people who use the press release anymore. It's a little bit archaic. It is text heavy. It is impersonal. And so I just want to kind of walk you through why I think gone are those days and what are some key elements into how you are going to reach editors or even new customers, new businesses. First of all, a ton of us are consuming all of our information on our smartphones. Everybody's time is so short. They are inundated in every which way. We are consumed with information. Text, email, Slack, Twitter, you're just consumed. Your phone is always buzzing. And so people's time is short. They don't have a ton of time to sit and read a very formal, long press release. I have very strong relationships with a lot of editors, and no one reads them. They immediately delete them. So don't waste your time on that. Don't hire a PR firm to write a press release for you. Also, in PR, you want it's all about building relationships, and especially now are the days that advertising is getting, there's more pressure to engage advertisers, and so PR is free. People are promoting your business because they're really genuinely interested in what you have to say. So you want to make sure that you're creating a relationship with this editor. If you send them a press release, they know that everybody else in your inbox, or sorry, with your database received that press release also. It's not personal. They want to feel like you selected them, you targeted them, you came to them for a reason on why your information is important and relevant to them. It kind of goes in line with my next point that it's not purposeful. you're not explaining to them why they should write about it, why you're interested in having them write about your new project or what you've recently designed. Then also just the text alone, when you get like a novel of a text message or like an email and you're in the car or in the taxi and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is so much to consume. I'll read this later. Most of the time you forget to read it or you're like, oh, when am I gonna have time to like sit and really respond? So the point is you wanna keep it short, sweet, personal. And on my next slide, I'm going to walk you through how to actually catch an editor's eye since we're not gonna use the press release. And if you can do me a favor, I have an example of an email that is written on the right of like a sample email that you might send to an editor. If you don't mind just waiting to read that until I walk you through the points, and then you can kind of work through that and craft your own, but I thought it would be helpful for you to see. So I'll first start with, there are so many ways to get in touch with people now. And it's become a little bit tricky on how to approach editors. And I am of an old school that you want to create a relationship, but protect that boundary. Don't pretend that the editor that you don't know is your friend and you DM them and you tell them about your amazing product. Go through them in a professional way and email them. Most of the time you can find their email on their LinkedIn, on their Instagram profile, even at the bottom of an article if they write for a website or sometimes a magazine. But email them first. And be resourceful when you're looking for their contact information. I know sometimes people think, I need to hire a PR firm because I don't have the contacts, I don't have their email addresses. If I can tell you anything as a small business and a way to save your money, their email addresses are really accessible. So be resourceful when you're looking for them and it will save you a ton of money. I have nothing against PR firms, I do love them, but I think you have to have a very strong purpose to hire them. And a lot of times you can do the work that they're doing, which is hopefully what my presentation is going to help you with. When you email an editor, first of all, show that you did your research on why your design project, why your product, why your new kitchen remodel is relevant to them. Why would they want to write about it, especially for free when they're having advertisers pay them to write content? Tell them why you're interesting. What are you doing that's unique? Similar to kind of what Rachel said in your website, why are you different than everybody else? So also in showing that you did your research, if you find a person that you really like and they're writing about the latest trends in tile or the newest kitchen trends or new bedding, it may be relevant for you on what you're pitching for the house or the kitchen remodel or the space planning, whatever your business is. If you're reading, let's say, Dwell magazine, and you randomly come across a tech editor that wrote a story, but you aren't incorporating any new technology, you just want to promote your house, I need you to think about why that might be relevant. That you're probably not going to want to email the tech editor because you promoting your new interior house that you're designing is not going to be so relevant to them. Be resourceful and seek out who's covering new homes, who likes to see innovative design. But if on the flip side, you have a incredible house that is incredible technology, state of the art, email the tech editor, but just be smart and do your research on what that editor's covering. Let's see, okay. Give them immediate facts. You can do your kind hello, introduce yourself shortly, but tell them immediately why you're emailing them. I wanted to reach out. I just launched this new modern minimal design project. I saw that you covered X, Y, and Z, and I thought this might be interesting. And that's it. And then blow them away with imagery. Imagery is key. We all know we consume so much imagery with Instagram and Pinterest. People want to see what you're talking about and immediately grasp it. So you do a short intro, 2 to 3 sentences, and then boom, imagery. You can do a Dropbox link. You can attach images, but if I can give you any advice, make sure that your attachments are small in size. It can clog editors' inboxes. It can go to junk. It cannot be received. So I personally like to do one hero image and then let them know that there's a link, a Dropbox link, if they're interested and they want to see more. Thank them for their time. I know that sounds so silly, but they don't owe you anything. The editors are, they're busy, and it is a privilege to have them write for you, especially for free. Thank them. Just say, I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much for considering. A lot of people too, I wanted to touch on, want to send their product. And this is a little bit different for us as interior designers. You don't have product as much, but maybe you did a collaboration with somebody and you're launching a new blanket or you're launching a new ceramic. Email the editor, create the relationship first, and then ask them if they want to receive your product. And the reason I say that is, as a small business, product is key. It's money, it's your time. But sometimes if the editors don't have a relationship with you, they're not as keen to promote what you sent. They may be like, oh, I don't even know who sent this. I'm just going to put it in the gifting closet or something. And when you're a small business, you want to make an impression, but you want that product to get noticed. And obviously when you send it, you're expecting or hoping that you get coverage or a mention on Instagram or something. So create the relationship first. It's really important to be genuine and to have real relationships with people, not just kind of bombarding them with your information. And then, like I said, people are very busy and they're getting a ton of information. So if you don't get a response, maybe wait 4 or 5 days to follow up, and then kindly follow up and say, hi, I know we're all inundated with information, but I just wanted to see if you had a moment to check out my email. I would follow up once. I wouldn't follow up on DM again, because you don't have a relationship with them yet. So, but yeah, be gracious. They're busy, but I think it's okay to follow up. Don't be afraid to follow up. And now, like I said, you can keep this sample email. I always like to use their name in the subject of the email so that they know that you are specifically targeting them, that you didn't just do a blind copy email to everybody that you know. Also in the subject line, kind of give them a reason to open it and let them know you want their thoughts. You would like a response. So my subject line says, your thoughts, a home you've never seen. If I got that email, I'd be like, oh, I've never seen a home. Okay, who is this and what do they have to show me? Maybe this is interesting. So yeah, kind of draw them in the subject line, and then you'll see, just the intro of wanted to share a sneak peek of a new home I recently did in Austin, Texas. And then why I think it will be interesting is because I recently saw that you posted and you were loving minimal and modern homes, but that still feel warm. So I really thought maybe this would be interesting and maybe we could do a bigger story on it. Here's a link to the house and maybe a highlight of what's really cool about the house. I personally am obsessed with these chairs. I dream of them in my house. So that's why I mentioned it in this email. And then just say, thanks so much for considering for blank magazine or website. Let them know again that you specifically targeted them. It's good to mention the publication that they write for so that they know that this was purposeful, it was specifically for Dwell, or it was specifically for my domain, and you'd love their thoughts. So, okay, now let's talk about the best channels to promote your work. Aside from press, which is great, I think it's super important and it garners awareness. But I think in today's day and age, there's a 360 approach. You kind of need to touch in every facet. So I have found that social media is my biggest advocate. It is my best way to reach people, particularly Instagram for me, because as designers, we're very visual. So it's really nice for people to see the work that we're creating, but and also to engage. Pinterest is wonderful if you want to promote your projects there or give people ideas. It's visual, it's less text to consume, and it also is engaging. I also think that the community that you create on these social media platforms is so key. If you can't tell, I'm all about genuine relationships. So building genuine relationships with people that are on Instagram or Pinterest, and utilizing those people's followers and those relationships you have to help spread the word. Who can you work with on social media that's going to promote your work, that has a like-minded following, that has a similar aesthetic, but using and asking those people to work for you, but not really, just to support you and support what you're doing. Cross-promoting. If you're doing interior design and you use this amazing rug company that maybe a few people have heard of, ask that rug company that you have a relationship with, hey, I wanted to send you the shots of the home, we finally completed it, do you want to post about it and tag me? It's no shame in asking, and if anything, you're bringing awareness to their social following and they're bringing awareness to you. It's all about supporting each other and really building that community. You'll see I underline personal relationships. Don't ask people you don't know to promote your work. Maybe that's obvious, and if it is, great. But some people just reach out and they see you have a good following and they're like, oh, can you post this and tag me? And I think gone are the days that people do that unless they're your friends. People are getting paid, and I think it's really important to just work within the community that you have relationships with. If you're like me, I was really nervous to be on the other side of PR and pitching myself as I transitioned from doing PR and marketing consulting and pitching other people to then pitching myself. And I thought, oh, that's so obnoxious to say, oh, hey, check out my project, it's so amazing. But really, it's not. You have a unique perspective. You have a reason to approach these people, because what you're doing is really creative, and people want to see. Editors and writers and even influencers are always looking for new content or new things to discover, and maybe you're the next thing. So don't think that it's vain to promote your own work. You're actually doing yourself a service when it comes to growth. I say it's not vain, it's using your brain, it's being smart, and not being afraid to put yourself out there. Also, if you go to my Instagram after this, you'll see I didn't put my face on the Instagram till very recently. Like, I've had it for a long time. I just started putting my face up there. And people want to know who you are, who's behind this brand. So even if you send not a headshot, but if you send a photo of you in your new project, that's okay. People would love to see. So yeah, don't be timid about that. Don't be timid to send emails to editors, cold emails. They too are looking for content. They want to know what's out there. They obviously are very tapped into big brands or what people are doing, but they don't know everything. They don't have time to know everything. So don't think that your work or what you created isn't important. And don't give up. If the first editor doesn't write back to you, that's okay. Try someone else. So be thoughtful and be bold. You've got this. You are a designer. You're a creative. You have an interesting perspective. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. The next thing, I think a newsletter is great to promote your work. I typically only write newsletters when I have pertinent information. I'm not of the thought that I need to email every week, let alone every month. Sometimes there's a couple months that go by that I won't write a newsletter because I don't have anything to promote or to talk about or to ask my subscribers to engage in. And I think that people respect that. We get so many emails, so much junk email, that they know when you're emailing, it's purposeful, it's important, it's relevant to them. So I think that's a really great way too to promote your work. And like Rebecca said, it's always important to track where people are coming from, and you can see who's signing up for your newsletter. Maybe someone that you always dreamed of is like, hey, I'm kind of curious about her company. I'm going to sign up. Think of them when you're targeting them on your newsletter, how you might want to reach them if they're new clients or if they're editors. But yeah, I think that's a really important way. And then obviously on your website too, you're going to promote your work. You're going to promote any write-ups, anything that shares what you've been up to, because people definitely look at that when they're searching to find new contractors or new designers. They want to see your work. They want to see if other people think it's cool and kind of get an affirmation of, all right, I like this designer and other people do too. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and promote. Let's see. I think that's it on my end. And Rebecca and I both would love to interact with you guys, to answer any questions on our websites, our emails, our Instagram. We're here for you. We want to be resources. We feel super grateful that we even have the opportunity to come and speak with you, and that you thought our information was interesting. But please email us any questions. For myself, if you need an editor contact or you want me to read an email that you're thinking about sending, I'm here to help. I love supporting other people. I love connecting other people. So reach out if you have any questions. And I hope you guys have lots of questions. I'm going to throw it back to Tara and Rebecca. Let me just exit out of here, and then we all can chat.
So much valuable information here. Like I feel like we're all leaving away with this small business toolkit that we can use to apply, to understand like what we should focus on our website, how we should approach editors. I think the big takeaway here for me is to not be shy. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to put yourself out there. And it is so important to focus on the way you present yourself, and there's always room for improvement in terms of refining your brand presence and how you speak to people and how you build relationships. And I really appreciate you taking the time to share your insights with us today. So I know we have a lot of questions, and I'll start through them right now. So Rebecca, when you were talking about the core values that you should really write out for yourself, that you should display on your website, can you give us a few examples of some core values that would attract your target client? And for the people who really don't know how to put their core values into words, can you recommend some good exercises that designers can do to kind of put those thoughts into words?
Yeah, definitely. It's a great question. I'll start with the latter, an exercise. And I absolutely recommend doing this as often as you feel it. If you're like feeling a bit disjointed from your business, or you're feeling like you've gotten off your path, you can look at your values or do an exercise to kind of get back on. So it's really just kind of like a whiteboard session with yourself. Again, I always say book time with yourself, just like you would a client. You're a business owner. You have to manage your business and do your business, so managing it. So it's really just doing kind of like set a timer. Just do it short, like a 10-minute timer, and then list the reasons why you love working with people, like your ideal clients. Like, what do you love about it? What is your reward? And then really think about it. You, as a business owner and as a business person, you have to find value in what you're doing. Of course, we work to make money, but we also, especially as a small business owner, and you're working for yourself, there's an emotional level to that, a layer. So write down what the reward is for you, and just free flow. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just see what comes out, and then you'll probably see a theme of like repeated ideas, and then those all rise to the top. And there you go. All of a sudden, I'll give you an example. Like one of my core values, it's really simple: working with kind people. That is a core value of my business. I do an initial phone consult for free for many reasons. Of course, to meet my clients, learn more about the vision of their project and their company, but also to like get the rapport. I time away from my daughter and my family to work. Of course, I want to make sure that the collaboration feels good. So kindness is a core value. So.
Okay. That's a great tip. Another question for you as a follow-up. Sure. So less about core values, more about actually jumpstarting and creating that website from scratch. So what is in your opinion, what is the best route to build a compelling website for your business if you don't yet have strong visuals to represent your brand? So, you just got started, or you have been designing for a few years, but you didn't really have the means to invest in a photographer. So you don't really have such high quality photography. But even if you don't have photography, it's still really important to have a website, right? So what's your opinion on that? And how can you still build a compelling website without having that amazing dream photography that you hope to get one day?
Another really, really solid question. In fact, this always comes up on my consults. Every single one of you watching again, you have photography, your work in progress, inspiration to you, your iPhone, go out, shoot something beautiful, look up, look down, what inspires you. I'm working with an amazing client right now. She did leave a design firm. She's on her own. She has one completed project. It's one room. And we are building a beautiful website for her. And we're using her inspiration, develop a mood board, shoot something beautiful. Your site visitors won't really know that you just built like a mood board real quick and shot it. And then just like showcase what it is. This is what inspires me. For example, like my Instagram, like I do a creative service. So I don't have like a tangible, I'm not going to just show websites on my Instagram. So I write in my bio, even, this is what inspires me. I mean, you're going to see a glass of wine. You're going to see a pink ruffle. You're going to see new client work. But the point is showcase what inspires you. You have photography beyond the traditional photo shoot for your project work. And people want to see that. Again, it's like that layer of personality behind your business. They want to work with an exciting, emotionally vibrant person and to be like, this is what I love. That really is like infectious. It's a good thing.
Okay, great. Thank you. Shooting over to Julie. So specifically regarding your, the design aspect of your business, how long did it take for you to become profitable? And how do you set your monthly, quarterly, yearly goals? Or maybe you don't set goals, maybe you do, but what is your strategy in setting your business intentions and holding yourself accountable?
Okay, so profitable, that's a relative question. Profitable. I just had a baby 16 months ago, and all of the new design business has evolved over the last 2.5, 3 years. So I was very profitable with PR. That was my bread and butter. But it's taken time. I currently have done 4 design projects, which has been awesome in the last year. But I'm really grateful that I also have support because I could not support my son and me on just my 4 design projects. And I'm always wanting to grow. But also just pick the right clients and being thoughtful in that because time is very important. My sanity is very important, and anything that's taking me away from my family, I want it to be worth the time. So if that answers your question. I could be more profitable.
Yeah. We all can.
We all could. Let's see. Okay, for my goals, I'm super hard on myself. I'm my biggest critic. I'm always like, you could do more, you could do better. But because I have a certain aesthetic, it might narrow my pool a little bit of clients. But I'm committed to that aesthetic and being kind of essential. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be everybody's interior designer. So when I set goals, it's more about like goals for clients, not quarterly or yearly. And because it's new, I'm continually evolving. But it's more client goals and who I want to work with and what would be cool designers that I would get to work with and incorporate into my projects. And also when I think about those projects, what's going to push me to keep learning and not just keep creating this same kind of like turning out, okay, that's my stick. I do this for everybody. I love being creative, and so I want to keep growing.
That's great.
I
That's
love what you
great.
just said. If I may like add in what Julie said about like she has clearly defined. She has a aesthetic that she loves as a designer, and that's how she's designed your business. It looks like, of course. So why not? That's what I was like, kind of like leaning on when it comes to like be singular in your style. Not everyone is your client. That is a very good thing. You know, you want to be really considerate and thoughtful in your business, and go get those clients that align with who you are as a designer. So I love that Julie has done this, perhaps organically or thoughtfully, but either way, it's like perfect. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And so, Rebecca, for the services that you provide, how do you set your business goals?
That's a great question. So I have like kind of monthly projected income goals that I've set. In fact, this summer was really challenging in all transparency. My business last summer was great. This summer, it definitely slowed a bit, and it got me to take a deep dive. I'm like, I have to take some time and figure out ways to improve my business flow. So I was struggling on my end. I looked at my core values. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? And honestly, I created a brand new service. Like we introduced it a few weeks ago. It's basically a subscription model. So, we still do our flat rate, advanced website design, like for a large amount, flat rate, and it's a lot of money out of someone's pocket for a design service, fine. But now we do a more streamlined, like a 4 or 6 page website, and it's by the month. And it's pretty awesome because all of us are so busy with our cash flow. So now I'm able to provide an awesome service, still a custom, beautiful website with, a platform for you as a business owner, but it's streamlined and it provides me more opportunity to reach those monthly goals. So it's kind of a win-win for everyone. So I think it's important if you're feeling stagnant in your business or if something happens, like take a look at it again. And I changed my website. I have a whole new website now. That's okay. You can do that.
And so how did you announce like your change in your business model? Like, did you send a newsletter? Did you do an announcement on social media? How did you let your leads and your client base know the change in structure of your business?
Sure. So I actually did all those things. I did an Instagram post. I did a newsletter. I, like Julie, send out newsletters when I have pertinent information. One of my goals that I've listed for 2019 is to get better at email marketing. Still thoughtfully, but I want to make sure I'm embracing that model. Squarespace actually introduced this summer an email marketing platform similar to like a MailChimp. So I use it. It's awesome. And I can track really neat information and learn more about my customers and clients. But also I did something I've never done. I am also a tough critic on myself. I'm working on it, of course. Being kind to myself is something I'm getting better at, but I'm activating my friendships, my relationships. It's hard to ask for help. I definitely know I cannot do it alone. I believe in this, like your tribe and community. And I'm like, it takes a village to like raise a kid and to raise a business. It's like the same thing. I've always been bad at asking for help because I'm like, oh, they're too busy. I don't want to burden them. You know what? People inherently want to help others. So I'm asking for help. I'm asking friends and trusted friends and acquaintances just say, hey, I have this for you. To Julie's point, I know them. I'm like, I have this all ready to go. I built like a visual asset that they can share on Instagram. And I gave them like a blurb. If you don't mind, if you have time, if you want to share this, thank you. So word of mouth is good.
That's great. That's great. And congratulations. It's amazing to realize there was something not working and you changed what you thought was working, and you took a risk and you put yourself out there. And we always constantly need to be checking in and reevaluating what we're currently doing because there's always room for improvement. So kudos to you for making that happen.
Yes.
So we only have one final question, and it's actually a hot topic and a very tricky question. I'm going to ask each of you. Rebecca, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Andrea is asking, especially as a designer, first starting out, how do you politely turn down a potential client based on design aesthetic or, creative differences? And how do you go about communicating that and finessing that language to make sure you don't offend someone, or just to make sure, like you say, thanks, but no thanks, this isn't quite right for me. What is your strategy around that?
Such a hot topic. I just posted on, I have my personal Instagram account with like my kid everywhere, but I literally did a post and I called it the year of no. 2019 is the year of no in the best way.
Mm-hmm.
And I like jokingly wrote hashtag know your worth, like NO your worth. So think about who you are as a business, look at those core values you've defined, and you might meet an amazing person, so sweet, but they might not align with what you're currently trying to achieve with your business. And you can graciously and gratefully say, no, thank you. Be like, I have other projects I'm working on. I always offer a referral recommendation. Have you considered checking out?
Oh, that's great.
I may not even know the company. I love giving things away. I have on my site like a small business resource guide. You can click through just like links and find them. So I often send people to like cool platforms. There's so much accessibility these days, whether it's a freemium website that offer like a free tier or you can pay for help. But I like just to say, I appreciate you getting in touch. I'm going in a different direction right now, but you can consider this. Thank you for your time. So
that's great. That's great. Giving another option.
I know we have limited time, but one more thing.
No, it's okay.
Your business comes first. So don't take a job for someone else. You take the job for you. And you can do that in a very gracious way. Yeah.
Great. And Julie?
Okay, mine's going to be quick because Rebecca stole mine. I want to help you. I don't want to offend you, and I say either my time is limited or I think you would really probably jive well with this person. Have you checked them out? I too love supporting other people because I don't design for everybody. Neither does Rebecca. So I think just being helpful. Kindly saying, I'm happy to help. I just, this isn't the right project. Or this isn't my expertise. Kind of blame it on you. This isn't, where I excel, but this person might be great.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. I've learned so much. I know everyone today has learned so much, and we do have more questions, but that's all the time we have left. I will be sending through an email with the recording and Julie and Rebecca's contact information. So if you want to reach out to them, they are the experts here. So they want to help you, as you can see. So thank you for taking the time to so generously share your wisdom with us. And we hope to see you sometime soon.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you. And people can stick around. I'm inviting Risa on, and she will be doing a brief demo about Ivy. So just give me just a second. Bringing Risa on screen.
And we can close our videos?
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye and hi. Bye,
guys. Bye, Lisa.
Thank you so much.
It's a reunion. Bye.
That was an awesome presentation and definitely something that I talk about a lot with designers. So we appreciate you breaking it down for us and keeping it real. The thing that I want to talk about today is really how you get to the point of when you're ready to focus on a website, when you're ready to focus on PR and social media and getting landed in a magazine. You kind of need to have your ducks in a row when it comes to the nitty-gritty of running your business, something that isn't so glamorous, but we try to make it a little glamorous here at Ivy. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you and kind of show you what I'm talking about. So how do you build a profitable business model? What do you do? What does it look like? Ivy is here to really help you centralize everything in one place. And I just want to make sure that you can go ahead and you should be able to see my screen right now. Just we'll double check. And definitely the other thing is really get everything in one place, be able to track your time, and be consistent in the way that you're presenting the information and documents to your clients. I used to manage a design firm here in San Francisco, and I was working between QuickBooks and Excel and Harvest, a time tracker. It was just too many different things, too many moving parts. So with Ivy, you can actually do all of that in one place. And we've built our platform to really centralize and focus on how interior designers work. And with that said, we know that as an interior designer, you might run your business different than Dina runs her business over here and Sally runs her business over here. But no matter how you run your business, you really have a hub to control everything, to manage your employees, to receive payments from your clients, to pull reports, to track all of your products, and really see your overall margin and make sure that you're making money so that you have money set aside for the marketing, for the PR, for the social media. If you're doing paid advertising, whatever it might be, we really want to help you not leave any money on the table. So speaking about money and leaving on the table, we'll just start right with the time tracker. A lot of designers don't like to track their time, and that is totally okay. It's fine because we want to help you make more time for design. So with Ivy, we actually just launched this awesome new app. Very cool. And it will allow you, I'm actually just going to show you, it's the Ivy app right here. It will allow you to track your time on the go. Super easy. What I'm going to show you right now, you can also do on your phone. It looks the same. So very cool. You can just select the project that you're working on, select the service that you're providing, and it will come pre-populated with that hourly rate that you set it up as, and you can add in your description, and you can either start the timer or you can just plug in the hours that you worked. If you don't track your time hourly, but you still want to track your time in case you get audited because you maybe, or not necessarily audited, but you really want to have a running track record of all of the time that you worked in case you need this information to understand, like, hey, like I thought it was going to take me 30 hours. I bid it for 30 hours, but you look back and it took you 50 hours. Well, you'll have a running log of that. So you would just mark it not billable right there. And then you can save that time entry, and you can go ahead and generate a time invoice, and you can actually send that invoice directly to your client. So you can use this to track time, to track expenses. You can combine them. It's really up to you. And you can generate this invoice. It looks branded. I know Rebecca, the ladies earlier were talking a lot about branded documents. It looks the same. It looks cohesive. Your client knows what they're going to expect. And you can save and send this out to your client. And you can even ask for the online payment. So you can ask them to pay by bank transfer or credit card. And the money will go right into your bank account very quickly. And so you don't have to go to the bank. You don't have to wait for a check to clear for 15 days. It's all right there for you. So that's pretty cool. And then from there, the other big feature that I love about Ivy that will help you save a lot of time, and if you have an assistant, Ivy is really easy to use, easy to learn, but we urge you as the owner of the company to learn it too, is that when you go into a project, you can see a breakdown of your project budget, of your designer fee revenue, expenses, labors. You can see a breakdown of your time billing. And when I go into the proposal, I can actually leverage Ivy's product clipper, which allows you to go to a vendor's website. Right here, the product clipper just nests on your browser. And it will allow me, if I click into the blue hand, to just clip the product directly from my vendor's website. I can categorize the item. I can add my cost. I can add a purchase fee, or some people call it markup. And I can say, okay, I want that item to cost $2,000. It will calculate the markup for you. Or you can just say, okay, I want it to be a 40% markup. And I can easily add my vendor. And what you see I've done here is I've actually imported a whole list of my vendors. And what's great about the Ivy community is our community, our designers are more than welcome and happy to share vendor contacts with you. The ladies earlier were talking a lot about community. That's our number one goal, is to really create a safe place for you to share information with other designers. We really believe in community over competition. And also here you see there's one set of invoices that will look like an invoice to a client. And then the other information, if you save it, don't worry, the client, of course, will not see the vendor or any of the proprietary details. That is just saved in the system for when you send your purchase order to the vendor. So we know how designers work. Again, if you did want to share the vendor information, you, of course, in the client description can add, the vendor information here. And then you would save the product. And then once I save that product, it will save into my product library, so I can actually reuse that item as many times as you want. I know a lot of designers who will just find items that they like and they'll just save them in their library, so then when they have time, they can easily source all of the chairs. It cuts their sourcing time down because they have a lot of products already clipped into their Ivy library. And you see right here, since I saved it to the project, it pops right up, and I'm gonna search and I'm gonna see all my products that I have. So now I can see sofas, and I can see all of my sofas that I have, and maybe I'll add a sofa in there. And maybe I also want to search all of my services. Maybe I want to add like a countertop install or a custom sofa build. Great, so I have my proposal now ready to go. What I love here is that before you send it out to your client, you can see the total cost, the total markup, and make sure that you're making enough money before you send this out to a client. I've seen a lot of errors, people talking about it in our Ivy Facebook group when they forgot to put in their markup on product. So this is a good last check. You can ask for a full deposit. You can change the city tax right there. And then I can save this proposal. And a lot of features that we have within Ivy, you won't find other places. They really help you customize the proposal, the invoice, before you send it out to your clients. For example, if I tab over into the Manage view, I can see right here that maybe I want my client to see the markup percentage. Maybe I want my client to see the approved per line item and be able to do that. Maybe I want to group items together and I want to make this one big custom sofa and put in my own custom picture there. Now my client will just see it as one line item at $9,000 instead of all of the different components. So when my client goes to see it, this is what it looks like on my client's end. And I can always view a preview before I send it out to my client. So this is what it looks like to my client. They can see the picture nice and big. You also have the ability to generate your own custom tear sheets, which is very, very useful and very helpful. No more cutting out your own boards or doing any of that. Ivy does it for you. You can add the pricing or not. And then from there, you can go ahead, get the payment. You can turn it into a purchase order and you can send it over to your vendor directly through our system. And again, the vendor will love receiving your purchase order through Ivy because it really streamlines their process as well. All of the details, all of the specifications are right here. You can plug in a date as well, and then it will float onto your project management calendar. Again, just so that you don't have to do that manually. A lot of what designers do currently, if they're not using Ivy, if they're using Excel, is manually going in and plugging the same information into 10 different other places. With Ivy, kind of thinks one step ahead of you and knows what your next step is going to be. So you can see that's on my calendar. We also give you a project tracker where you can generate and bounce it out to Excel, or you can generate an FF&E schedule with photos. Totally up to you, because that's, again, what most designers do. They'll go to Excel, go to Google Docs, they'll create their own spreadsheet. Here, this has all the information for you, pictures, all of the tracking. It's really your Bible of the project. And you can put in any custom columns here, and you can, of course, then create your FF&E schedule. You can also track credits and retainers in Ivy. You can save all of your attachments. You can upload your vendors, upload your clients. This is the product library that I was mentioning, where you can save all of your products. It saved the link from where you clipped from. So as you can see, Ivy really is a good way to manage your business. And it's also, we've built this awesome community through our users. You can just click into your Ivy account, join a Facebook group. People are sharing their contracts. People are sharing documents that have taken them years. People are sharing advice. People are sharing advice they're getting from business coaches. And again, we're always putting together content for you, industry webinars, bringing in anybody that you want to hear from, that to provide you with relevant information to help you take your business to the next level. So we're super dedicated to that, and we really, really, really are excited to share Ivy with you, and definitely want to go ahead and schedule a session with you. So you can go ahead, there's a green button, and just click schedule your one-on-one consultation with an Ivy guru. And I recommend you do that soon, because we are having special Black Friday pricing. So definitely make sure that you go ahead and you click into that and schedule that to find out more. And thank you again for being here with us today. We had such a great time. And if you have any questions, please let us know. We'll go ahead and drop in my email as well if you have questions for me. But I definitely am happy to share with you my 5 steps to really honing in and creating a profitable business. So we will let you go. Thanks for staying with us this morning, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.